Welcome back. As we mentioned, the debt ceiling agreement struck between President Biden and House Speaker McCarthy is heading to the House floor tonight for a final vote after it cleared the key procedural hurdle earlier this hour that votes on the rule that involves, that goes into this vote. The vote comes as McCarthy is facing some vocal opposition from within his own party over the deal. So joining me on set is one of those vocal critics of this deal, Virginia Republican Bob Good, a member of the House Freedom Caucus. Congressman Good, thanks for coming over.
Great to be with you, Chris.
Let me start with what we just saw there. Looked like, I think, only 30 no votes on the rule. I'm reading that as, oh, that doesn't look like there's going to be as large of an opposition. You're telling me, hold on there, that this vote won't be, that the no vote on the real bill might be higher than this one. Why?
Yeah, well, while I'm against the bill, and I hope that it doesn't pass, I think it certainly will pass. I think Republicans and Democrats are going to come together. That's the deal that's been made. However, the vote that you just saw, the rule vote, is a procedural vote that's sort of one of those where you're just supposed to vote with your party to advance the rule. So to have 30 Republicans feel so strongly about opposition to the bill to vote against the rule is very significant. You'll almost certainly have a significantly larger number of Republicans vote against it this evening.
This isn't unified government, as you know. Your party's not unified even by ideology. Why don't you accept the fact that this is the best deal McCarthy could get under these circumstances?
Well, my first concern with the bill is the fact that we're in $32 trillion national debt, the highest debt to GDP we've had since World War II. It's unsustainable. We are projected to reach some $53 trillion in national debt in the next 10 years if we don't have anything new come along.
Let me just stop you there, just so you know. I've had members of Congress telling me for 15 years, when it was 15, when it was 20, when it was 20, all of this was unsustainable, and yet we keep sustaining it. There's a little crying wolf here from some lawmakers that I think the country doesn't believe this anymore.
Well, it's an indisputable fact that it's higher than it's ever been.
That is true.
We're spending more money on interest on a monthly basis than we ever have. The fact that we're going to be at $53 trillion within 10 years, just unsustainable.
Our economy is enormous, though. It turns out we can sustain a higher debt load than we thought.
Yes, but our spending is far outgrowing our economy. Again, our debt to GDP has not been 125% ratio since World War II. World War II, we could justify it or explain it at least. We defeated Nazi Germany and Japan.
We can explain it right now. We were just in the middle of a crazy pandemic that was catastrophic potentially to the economy.
Well, and the bill that we passed out of the House that we negotiated actually would take us back to pre-pandemic spending. I think most Americans would agree that going back to pre-COVID spending, which was the largest amount of spending, the most excessive amount of spending in the history of the country, is reasonable to go back to pre-COVID spending, which, by the way, total pre-COVID spending was $4.5 trillion. We're realizing revenue right now of $5 trillion. If we were just at pre-COVID spending, we would be realizing a surplus of $500 billion every year.
Let me ask you about something you said. You said there'd be a reckoning after this vote was done.
I did not say that.
You didn't say that?
That is not my quote.
Okay.
But I'll be glad to speak to it.
Okay, speak to it. Is there a reckoning? And will there be one? And should there be one for the House leadership?
Well, I will just say that the challenge, the Speaker challenge, if you will, where we had the representative democracy in full display, where members were voting what they thought was best for the country or for leadership, was a reflection that many Republicans who gave us the majority back in November across the country had two primary concerns that I think manifested itself with the Speaker challenge. Number one, that Republicans have not done what they said they would do when they've gotten elected, that Republicans, when we've had the majorities in years past under the current leadership team, major spending bills were passed with primarily Democrat votes, not with Republican votes. That's not why Republicans, at least, vote for Republicans. Secondly, that we didn't use every tool at our disposal to fight against the Democrat agenda. I didn't feel like we had done that in the first 2 years that I've been in Congress when we were in the minority here. And so that's what we were voting for, to change how Congress operates, to change the rules of Congress, so we wouldn't do things like extend the debt limit unconditionally for 2 years, which most forecasters say it'll take us to some $36 trillion in national debt. It will make the country worse off fiscally. It does nothing to address our spending problem, and it's bad for the country.
And it's Chip Roy who said reckoning, not yourself, so my apologies to there. But speaking of Chip Roy, I want to read this tweet and ask you what your understanding of the rules deal was. Chip Roy said this. A reminder that during Speaker negotiations to build the coalition that it was explicit both that nothing would pass the Rules Committee without at least 7 GOP votes and that the committee would not allow reporting out rules without unanimous Republican votes. It's not the way McCarthy apparently has heard it, or at least McCarthy allies. What was your understanding of the agreement? That was this Rules Committee supposed to conduct itself the way Chip Roy described or not?
Well, while I was part of the original 5 who said I wasn't going to vote for Speaker McCarthy, and I was part of the 20 that was part of that 15 rounds of voting, I was part of the final 6 that never did vote for him as Speaker. So I was not part of the negotiations, quite frankly. Now, was I in those discussions with the 20, of course, and was I helping formulate what would be our strategies, what kind of changes we want to have happen? So I wasn't privy directly to the rules or the agreement that was made, if you will. However, we should be working through regular order. We ought not to be passing legislation that all Republicans on the Rules Committee cannot support. We also passed it without allowing amendments to it. We passed it out as a closed rule. So members of the Republican Party, or for that matter, the Democrat Party, couldn't make amendments to this bill to try to change it before we vote on final passage tonight, which is breaking our standard practice. It's breaking regular order, and my understanding is breaking the agreement that was part of the Speaker.
But you don't know for sure firsthand what the agreement was.
Well, I've heard about that, and I'm certainly extremely confident Chip Roy is absolutely correct. But I just want to make the point that I was not part of those negotiations or those discussions directly because I did not vote for the Speaker.
Should Speaker McCarthy take a threat of a motion to vacate seriously right now or not?
Well, no one's talking about that except reporters who asked me about that, quite frankly. What we are talking about is trying to expose the bill, what we think is wrong with the bill, why we think it's a bad piece of legislation, how to get our fiscal house in order, how to cut spending. Right. If we lose this vote tonight and this bill passes, or even if it does, we're going to turn to the appropriations process, try to cut spending in the appropriations bills this summer and this fall. We've got to make meaningful change on the fiscal side of
it wasn't just reporters. Ken Buck floated the motion to vacate.
Well, I didn't hear Ken say that. Yeah. I've heard reports that Ken said that on a phone call. I was on that phone call. I missed part of it because I was traveling, but I did not hear him say that.
How do you not look at this and say you won? And I say this, Democrats didn't want to negotiate. Joe Biden said no. They did not believe Republicans could unite on an agreement. They did. They called the bluff. They got this. This is divided government. This is probably as good as you could have done. How do you not see this as a win?
Well, number one is what's best for the country. We ought to be patriotically working towards what's best for the country. And I realize we have different views of the country, different visions of the country.
Incrementalism is usually the only way you can accomplish anything.
The bottom line, this is an unconditional, unlimited increase of the debt ceiling for 2 years. And that is bad for the country. It's bad for us fiscally. It's not addressing one of our most important threats or most major threats to the country, number one. Number two, we were winning before this bill. The polls were showing that 20% of the country agree with the Biden position of just raise the debt ceiling unconditionally.
You won the political argument. There's no doubt the polls all said that.
60% said only raise it if you cut spending. 20% said don't raise it at all. So you had 80% who were some semblance of Republican position. We had a strong position, a strong hand with the Limit, Save, Grow bill. Lots of tremendous reforms, some significant cuts in there. Would have taken a big step towards putting us a path towards fiscal solvency. We forfeited all that leverage. We forfeited all that power, and almost none of that ultimately got in the final product. When we have the House majority, we should have been able to force some of that into this bill.
If there's a Republican president in 2025 and there's a debt ceiling.
May what you say be spoken.
If there is, you going to raise the debt limit unconditionally, or do you think the debt limit, even with a Republican president, should have spending cut conditions?
When I first ran in 2019 for the start of the 2020 race and over the last 3 years, I have never said I would not vote for debt ceiling. What I said I would, or an increase. What I said was I would not do it without commensurate cuts and reforms that would put us on a path towards fiscal stability.
No matter who's president of the United States?
Absolutely. And a lot of Republicans, I'll remind you, during the Trump presidency, where we did not do a good job on spending, I've said many times, Republicans are complicit in this problem. Yes, Democrats are better at spending than Republicans are. We at least feel bad about it. We at least talk about trying to address it, not consistently like we should. But during the Trump presidency, when that debt ceiling was raised, it was raised with Democrat votes primarily. Most Republicans in the House today have never voted for a debt ceiling until some are going to vote for it tonight.
All right. Bob Good, Republican from 5th District, Virginia. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.